bigger is better. Use your largest wax dripper to do that.
There are so many instruments that you can use, and after a while you get used to a certain number of instruments, and you use them forever. You know,
Either one.
These instruments here that you see here,
Blackout wax is fine.
these are 35 years old.
Baseplate wax is fine.
The only thing I do, I change the tubing.
Yeah, Ney is actually.
Okay, you see that blockout? That's all you need on this side, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Let's go on this one now.
Quite so much.
You don't need too much on this one, okay?
You want to do
Just-
fine.
That's
I'll
like
go
you,
the
no?
lines just a little bit. Let's go ahead and just block out the undercuts first, and then I'll draw the lines.
There we go.
Okay? So right now you should be getting your
I'll
Bunsenburg
do half,
going.
okay?
Your
Okay.
largest waxing instrument, the largest one.
You don't need too much on this lower, okay?
I'm just
Just a
going to show you
little
on
bit.
the Elmo here.
And then you hit the,
Go ahead and use
Number
this
7.
waxing instrument here.
this one and this
Okay?
one are
It'll make your job go much quicker.
the same. It's the same spatula, except I ground this. This is too thick. You notice it's too thick?
Oh.
So I ground it and reshaped it so I can heat it up a lot quicker. See? And this is curved. I straighten it out. I don't need a curve. Okay? It's a matter of, you get used to whatever you want, okay?
Right.
Now, did you see the difference between this blockout and the one on the right side?
Wax.
That's not a blockout, that's a mess.
Do you need
Okay?
some?
You just want to cover only the undercut, that's it. Okay, so on the other side, it requires a little bit more of a blockout. So what I do, I put a piece of wax here, okay? So I don't have drip, 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 but you do it all at once. And then with the back of this instrument,
use the
you
rounder
go
edge.
ahead and distribute
Okay.
it.
So
To
kind of
do the
showing
real
you
blockout.
the finished product here.
You through, okay? And in the front is just a little bit, remember, no, don't put
Okay.
too much.
So
Otherwise
on
the patient
this
is gonna
Elmo
look
cast here, you
bulky.
see that the wax is already finished, right? Very
Okay.
excessive and very sloppy on the wrong side. Very
Yeah.
nice and neat on this side.
Let me do the other one so I
So
can.
one way to see where an undercut is, what you could do would be to take an instrument, a straight instrument. I don't know if you can see this, if I can focus it
Straight.
correctly, but somewhere between the height of contour,
Straight
which is the
instrument.
fat part of the ridge, a straight instrument down to the bottom, and you'll notice a little air in between your instrument and the fattest part of the
You
ridge.
need some Vaseline.
That's your undercut. Is that showing okay? You see a little air there?
What I have the box in,
A
please.
little bit there, a little air.
Yeah, open it up on
That's
the,
where you will put your wax.
on the side.
And you'd only want to put enough wax there so that
Yeah.
you get rid of the air. The air represents the undercut. Okay? With a straight
Okay.
instrument, touching the fattest part of the ridge.
You don't have Q-tips, so
Okay?
and
again, you don't want to put too
there is
much
plenty of
wax in.
Vaseline out there. Q-tips,
Yeah, they're
get about 6, 7 of them.
So, this
So
is
you can
relief
share
wax. Okay? Sorry, this is blockout wax. This is blocking out the undercuts. This wax
There
will
we go.
stay on the cast forever. Okay? Separate from relief wax, which will be picked up with your tray and then removed
Yeah.
just before you do your impression.
Did you see that? We have to put some wax here, but a lot of the time when you warm up the wax and you put it here, it will stick to a dry stone. I want it to stick to this. I want it to stick to the tray. I can't make it. So
We did pay the electric bill, so
I
feel
put
free
something
put
here
your
to
lights
prevent
on.
that from happening. Okay?
At least that's what the dean told me. He said we did pay the
What happens if you
electric
don't
bill.
have Vaseline?
Now, when you get to your triad sheet,
Stick to the
the actual
Mineral
tray
oil will
itself,
work too.
you might want to be a little bit more careful
You have to learn
about
how to
getting
work
bright
with
light on
several
it.
different
because light
kinds
is
of
what cures
materials,
it.
okay?
Light is what sets it.
Because you might go to an office and they don't have Vaseline, they have mineral oil. Or they have, what they call the other one? I forgot.
So
Okay,
when you look down on your blockout, you should be able to look all the way down
now,
to the, see the vestibule, see the bottom of that U shape.
I want to make the lines here where it's going to be the block out of the wax, okay? One layer of that, okay? So you figure it out. Which one is the extent of my vestibule right here, okay? Got it? And you go all the way down here. Here, okay? Then I have to make a tray in a way that I will be able to border mold with the tray. You know what border mold is? If you don't understand something, please ask, okay? Because I keep talking and it's like talking Chinese, you know. No, if you don't know what border mold is, okay. Border mold is when you make a tray, you leave it short, okay? Let's say you make the tray this, okay, shorter of the periphery, so you can add later on compound and go in the fashion like that to copy precisely the extension of the mucovocal form. Okay? You're going to have to learn terminology because that's all to it, and then it's a terminology.
What was that word again?
Huh?
What was that word again? Border mold?
Border mold
Okay.
is to copy the extent of the
Yep.
vestibule correctly
Okay.
by molding with the cheek.
Okay, so on your maxillary blockout,
the shape of the
okay,
patient
blocking out the undercuts,
mouth. Okay?
you'll notice that down at the bottom there, on the correct side, you see minimal to no wax in the vestibule, right? On the correct side. So you should be able to see all the way down. So just blocking out what you have to block out.
You notice that I'm
Okay,
using
don't
blue.
block out excess.
The reason why I want to see it through the
Bigger
wax,
is better.
so I can trim it.
Bigger.
Like if you
is
paint
easier
it
to
in
use.
red, you won't be able to.
Okay, so use your largest waxer to do that. Okay, you have enough control.
Okay.
Okay. I started 65 and over. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. You got it? Because I'm going to put it here and mold it.
So the blockout is just for the sides of the cast. Once you get down into the vestibule, you should no longer need blockout because that's actually a horizontal
Okay.
surface, not a
So you put
vertical
it here.
surface. Right?
And it's
Blockout
going to
only
stick to your
pertains
finger, so
to
learn how
a
to use a
vertical
little bit of Vaseline, you know, so it won't stick to you.
Mhm. Okay, again, you know, bigger is not necessarily better here on this one. You just want the correct amount of wax just to block out the undercuts.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so don't spend too much time on this. You know, usually 5 or 10 minutes should be enough to get your block out done.
10 minutes, that's too long.
Need to carry it back too.
Okay. So what you are doing, trying to put the spacer, that's what you're trying to do. Okay, so
Okay, so your block
Hopefully-
out on the maxillary arch should be from around where tooth number 5 would be, 4 maybe, around to tooth number 13. Okay? The slide on the left shows you where your block out is needed for the mandibular. And that is called the retromylohyoid
Hyoid.
area.
that's
Retro
right.
meaning behind the mylohyoid attachment, okay? And that's where your undercut is on the mandibular arch.
Okay. Warm it up a little bit so it'll sit even, okay?
So if we don't have that, do we just
Huh?
do it over the Bunsen burner?
This?
Use the lighter.
Oh, just use the lighter?
Yeah. Yeah, you cannot do props without this.
I think he's cutting at the.
You don't have one, buy one. It's not that expensive. Okay. So once you have the spacer already set up, okay, just be sure you check it out and stick as close possible as with that blue line, okay? And then now is when it's worth it what I'm doing, sitting on that what they call it, triad, okay? Feel it. It's warm. Some people are warmer than others, you know what I mean? That's obvious. Yeah. This thing sticks like you wouldn't believe. Yeah. I have boxes of these things that the delivery person apparently have them in the truck, you know, summertime, and they stick, man. They look like devil. Yeah. And there's not much you can do. I mean, they melt sometimes. They have some kind cheaper, but what they do, they don't have this separating them. They have them all together, just with this a slight, you know, don't buy them because when they stick, forget it. Ooh, I'm sorry, the wrong color. I want the,
You want the other one?
what they call it, the natural color. It should be here. True tray. This is the base material. Pink.
Okay, on the slide I just popped up, if you look at the bottom picture,
Or this is the one I want. It has to be that one because this is too thin. This is good for a base. Later on, you're gonna use it here.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay. This is
It might be that one, yeah.
Okay, that's a
True
true
that's
tray.
it.
That's a true tray. Okay. You want to sit on it for me? I want you to do something. Okay, you see the difference in color? This is for base plate, so when you go and take vertical dimension, that's what you use. This is to take impression. Okay, now, remember, since this is a horseshoe, there is no sense in leaving the thing in the middle because if you leave it in the middle, it's going to be very hard for you to adapt it. Okay? So take this out and put it in there. Okay? And see how easy it'll adapt when it's warm? Okay. What should be the temperature when you put it here? Okay.
Body temperature.
Body temperature, that's the answer, my friend. You notice what I did? No, put a little bit of Vaseline here, so I can go around and it doesn't stick. Okay, it's simple.
I know.
Huh?
Junior guy comes
What?
or tomorrow.
Okay.
Just call him. No, you call him and just
So now.
yeah, just
Are you cutting
Now,
it? Are you cutting it the red line that you usually?
I am cutting it a little bit overextended.
Okay.
Okay, why? Because it's a lot easier to take off than to add to it.
Okay.
Remember that.
that's fine. Did you say his name or
Yeah.
Now,
But it, yeah.
don't do what a student of mine did in this junior year about 10 years ago.
never ended?
She made a tray.
So it's probably just like
It would have been perfect for a cow, not for a human. That baby was like that. And the lady was 87 and little mouth.
you just have to do
And I said, where are you going to put that? Oh, just in case. In case of what? So always be sure that you relate trade to patient. I mean, you know. Careful when you do this too. Okay? This is very sticky, okay? This material, very sticky. Okay, so when you finish, just be sure that you pat it around. Okay? Huh?
Oh, nothing.
Yeah, be careful when you do this. We have had cuts here before. The worst cut I ever seen in all the years I've been here is the girl that buried the knife in her leg.
Ooh.
Yeah,
How did that even happen?
When was that?
don't ask me how. She was cutting a model here and it slipped,
Oh.
went in with no anesthesia. There we go. So what do you do now? You can do several things. You can put a metal handle. You can put a triad handle. So I don't have a metal handle here, but you can do that. So if you want to do a triad handle, that's fine. What they require then? I don't remember. Hmm?
I think just a triad handle.
Triad, okay. The advantage of triad is
I don't know though.
you can add to it. You know, you can make it any shape you want to. It's like playing with Play-Doh, basically, you know. Have you ever had it in your hands? Pass it around and see before it dries up.
It's like softer wax.
Oh, yeah.
Kind
Where would we get a metal handle?
Huh?
Where would we get a metal
Metal handle in the every tooth room,
Oh, in the tooth room? Okay.
down here.
Okay.
Yeah, she's superb lady. She's been here a long time too. She will even help you to select teeth and all that. Okay, how do I make the handle? I make it in a way that when I can grab it, I can take it out of the mouth comfortably, so it feels comfortable. Don't
Nice.
squeeze it. Okay, pass it around here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, before we cure it.
Oh.
Triad or the? I think it's. No, not the red one.
Oh my god. Is that
Yeah. Sure.
Does the triad handle work just as well as the metal handle?
The metal handle looks like this.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So all this is buried
Okay.
on the handle. So you press here, and then I can go through it,
Okay.
and it'll stay there. Yeah. Any volunteers to use the light curing machine? Put it for 1 minute.
And then bring it back.
Bring it back to me. Yeah.
Is it gonna be hot?
No. Light curing. Hey, over. Yeah. Put it for 1 minute. The button in front of you. Put it in one. Yeah, and then push the one on the right side to turn it on. Hallelujah, brother. We have to learn at some point in time. See, you cut this and don't cut the paper. Oh man. Okay. So you put it here. No, nothing scientific about this.
So it's just like the ridge on the side.
Okay.
Oh, I see what you're saying. If you
Okay. You can mark it first, and then put the block out wax in.
By the time they finish talking with that, we finish with this.
Okay, so people are doing pretty well on doing the block out. So now it's time to take a look at the book, and if you have your manual handy, you'll see here that the first thing that we would do would be the posterior or the outer edge in a black line. So let me show you how we would do that. So if we took our maxillary cast in the depth of the vestibule, probably right in the middle of the vestibule, I would draw a line to the depth, in the middle to the depth. So now, if you can see that line, that is the expected line of the finish of the denture, the end of the denture. Like on the other side too, we'd come up right in the depth of the vestibule, depth of the vestibule. That's as far down, or that would be the extent of the denture. And then across the back, you can do sort of a subtle line
Did not stick.
posteriorly. We just connect
That's what
that.
you want. You
Okay.
don't want the wax to
So what
stick.
I've drawn
Mother,
in black
then you
pencil.
use Mother Vaseline, okay?
Focus in a little bit.
Yes.
Okay, that is the extent of the denture. That is where you expect the final denture to be. Okay? So that first line would be drawn in black. Now, the second line is drawn in blue, and that represents the borders of the impression tray. Okay? It's parallel to the original line, okay, that I just drew. So I can do that here, and it's 2 millimeters short of that. If you want to, you can make a dot, and then make a dot, measure 2 millimeters, make a dot. Or if you can just estimate what 2 millimeters would be, you can do something like that, and then literally just connect the dots. Okay? So now I have a second line that is 2 millimeters inside the first line. And as best as I can, that's about 2 millimeters all the way around.
Then to go 2 millimeters in, okay?
Okay?
Roughly.
And this represents the extent of the tray.
That's right.
This is how far down our tray will go. The tray is always shorter of the expected denture border. Always. Okay? So it'll be 2 millimeters short of the black line. Okay? So everybody see that?
The accent.
So that would be
Which accent is that?
your tray. So the black line is your expected final denture. 2 millimeters short of that is the tray. The mandibular arch, let me just show you that real quick. Depth of the vestibule here
Pass it around.
looks something like that. Depth of the vestibule here
Obviously, we have to trim it, it's
on the inside.
has to be smoothed out.
How do you know where to draw this line?
And so the tray
do you know
line would be
where-
2
like, where to
millimeters
draw
from
it?
It's a
that.
block out
So now my
because
blue
this
line
area here is usually
Would look
very,
something
very
like that.
compressible. So
2
you don't want to put
millimeters
any pressure when you are taking
short
pressure. Yeah.
of
But is there a landmark for that?
black denture line. Okay? So it looks something like that. We can connect our dots again,
Pressure less on the front.
and that's what that would look like.
Good question.
Okay? So now we have 2 of our 3 lines drawn. So what's left to do? The relief line, okay?
Yeah.
Now, the relief line will be in areas that we specifically want relief. So for the maxillary arch, that would be that T-bone over the rugae that extends to the mid-palatal raphe,
One is seated.
something like that, coming around here, and then staying at least 2 millimeters shy of the tray. Remember, no wax can get within 2 millimeters of the tray border, okay? Because when we border mold, we add the compound, it would lock in, it would give us problems just before we made our impression, okay? So if you'll notice that this is way more than 2 millimeters back here because we don't want relief over the posterior palate. We want some more pressure there than we do on this movable tissue in the rugae area, okay? In the mandibular arch, we're primarily looking at it over the crest of the ridge, okay, to give some relief in that area. Okay. Now this is variable by patient, but at a minimum, we would want to come in 2 millimeters inside the tray line. And that's about where you would put your wax relief line on the mandibular. Okay, again, wax cannot get too close to the edge of the tray. So go ahead and finish out your relief, draw your lines, check with your faculty before you start to lay down your relief wax.
Oh,
Don't worry about it.
this thing, these reliefs here, it doesn't have to be super accurate, okay? As long as you relieve the area. Okay. So then, this should not stick to the cast. This should stick to the tray. Okay, which one is this one? Oh, you got it. I'm gonna find out now how effective you are. Okay. Okie dokie. I want to put this trial around the wax, so the trial will grab the wax. Okay? You want it that way.
I think that's what we did to make sure this would stick. I think.
What did they use foil for? What do you use foil for sometimes?
Hmm?
When in the PowerPoint they had foil on there, what do you use that
Here?
for? Yeah.
Vaseline. You don't need. You can put foil if you want to, but it's gonna take you a while to keep the foil smooth and straight.
Okay.
It's gonna take you a while, like a half an hour.
No. No thanks.
Doesn't matter when we don't. To the bottom.
He's cutting. Yeah.
To the middle.
Remember, I'm cutting it a little bit longer than I need,
Yeah.
The middle.
and then you can bring it up to par.
Top one? That's where the tray will be. The bottom is where the actual.
He said he's cutting it a little bit longer.
Okay, so it's kind of in between the two.
Yeah. Because then he's gonna go back and trim it.
So the denture will be. So the red is where you do
The relief.
the relief, and the second one is the custom tray, and the third one is where the oh, actually, okay, got it. But he's making it
Trim.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you do the final approximation, you know, so it's against the palate, excuse me, against the maxilla, okay? And you want to be sure you grab the wax, okay?
Did you put Vaseline on the wax?
Huh?
Did you put Vaseline on the pink wax between?
On the pink wax? No, I put it on the model.
Okay.
Yeah, because you want it to stick to the. Okay, rim, what they call it, the handle. If you leave it out here 2-3 days, it'll be harder with the light. Yeah.
I just wanted to touch it.
You know the curing light for the composite?
Yeah.
It'll dry it up quick. So never put curing light there.
So could you cure it with the
Huh?
composite light curing thing too? If you didn't have one of the tri.
I have used it, yeah.
Okay.
It takes a long time.
I think so.
You know, but you can use it.
Just like
I did a bunch of handles of instruments with this, and I didn't have the curing light at home, so I did the handheld. Took me a while. Now you can do these kind of handles, or you can do the horizontal handle, either one. And I notice here that my handle is a little bit too long, okay? So what do I do? Cut it short, okay? Well, you are the expert on curing light, so